All right, welcome to another week of our show. A rare week here. There's three of us, and there's two football games to talk about.
there's more forecasters than games this week.
Just the way it worked out. For some reason, nobody wanted to play. Well, not nobody, but majority of teams didn't want to play football this week.
Yeah.
But we're here either way to talk about games. That's how we're going to do it. So Tony's going to talk about one game. Jim's going to talk about the other. We're going to pick the two. We're going to get out of here.
Awesome.
The 5 or 6 minute range.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Tony, our first game here. J.H. Rose plays South Central. I covered the Rampage last week, coming off a huge win against Conley. They have another Pitt County team. They play South Central.
Yeah, an improved South Central team from last year, certainly.
Definitely,
Coming off their first loss, South Central has not been good on the road so far this year. But you know that they're going to do everything they can to get their first ever win against Rose.
Yeah.
South Central has never beaten them in the school's history. Another rivalry game in town, you know what I mean? So I feel like South Central returning home will help a little bit this week, but Rose is still flying high. That offense, as you noted here, Ronnie, it's balanced, it's explosive, they hit you through the ground, they hit you through the air. They can score in pretty much any conceivable way that you can think of. A really high-powered offense. South Central looking to get well at home.
Yeah, last week Rose ran the ball really well against Conley. That was, not surprising, but alarming to me in a good way for the Rampants.
Yeah.
Who are you going to pick, Tony?
I think you have to pick Rose. I mean, you don't have to. You can pick whoever you want. I will pick Rose. I think they will continue to be undefeated, having a really good year. I don't see that stopping this week.
Okay, Jim?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Rose as well. As much improved as South Central is, what I think was really impressive with that Rose win last week was the fact that they came back and won.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, they've shown that they can win a bunch of different ways. It's been really impressive. South Central, that one loss was a pretty tough loss on Eastern Wayne. South Central plays well at home and they're back at home, so it can make this close. This game has not been that bad. It's not been a big blowout the last couple of years.
You're
I think
right.
it was 20 points last year, but they still scored a lot of points against Rose, so it could be interesting. But I mean, Rose has got too many weapons, I think, this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say kind of the same thing. I mean, I think if Sean Furlow for South Central hits some big runs, maybe they get a lead. You never know. But ultimately, in the end, I agree with you all completely. I think Rose is probably the best team in this area, and it's looking that way. I think South Central is a tough spot to be in.
Tough stretch for them.
Yeah, for sure. I think we have Newburgh next week. So I think the Rampants are the safe pick there. Jim, our next and last game, you covered North Pitt last week. They got a win, first win of the year.
Lucky charm.
So you're heading up to Pinetown this week.
It's a nice little drive.
But yeah, they play Northside, a team that's 2-3. So maybe the Panthers can keep this thing rolling.
Yeah, what was really impressive about North Pitt is they shut Green Central out in the second half.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really impressive performance. When they really needed some long drives to kind of grind up some time, they were able to put those together.
Mm-hmm.
They looked like a solid football team. What really impressed me with their defense was it seemed like the entire night in Green Central's backfield. I mean, they really just dominated line of scrimmage with that defense. That was a really impressive performance. I know Green Central's kind of rebuilding there. Obviously, North Pitt's had its struggles, but watching that game, if you didn't know any better, you wouldn't have guessed that was probably North Pitt's first win of the season.
Yeah, I agree. That's impressive. So your pick, are you going to pick the Panthers?
I'm going to pick the Panthers in this one because I really do think they're evenly matched. The problem with North Pitt is you don't know what you're going to get offensively from them from game to game. They had a backup quarterback come in, Tyron Warren, really gave them a huge spark. He came in right before halftime, drove them down, got a big touchdown pass, and then scored pretty much the one that put it away in the second half on a nice little run up the middle. I think they're going to have enough offense in this game to pull this one off. They're going on the road, and it's not a short drive to Northside, but I think they're just going to have too much. I think they'll build off this past win. They had this kid, we're just coming off a bye week. I think they're just going to continue to get a little better.
Okay, yeah, I agree. I'm going to go with North Pitt as well. I know that conference is really good. But we're not to that point yet. I mean, I think this is a winnable game. You touched on it, the defense. I mean, offensively, I think there's still question marks, but I think the defense is solid enough to keep it close. Anthony Harris is a defensive lineman. We're featuring him this week for our featured player. And I think he's one of a handful of players they have on defense that can make some things happen, and a talented player. So I think it's a close game. I don't think either team's going to score a whole lot because they haven't so far. I'll take the Panthers in a close one.
Yeah, I think North Pitt will keep it going. If the offense is going to break out, this would be a good week to do it against a Northside team that's given up a ton of points the last 3 games during a 3-game losing streak. hopefully North Pitt, for their sake, they'll keep it rolling.
All right. Well, I think we picked all the same teams then.
Yeah.
For our two
For those two
games.
games.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously South Central Rose is in town. It's a good game, so go check that one out. If you're a North Pitt fan, make the trip down there and watch the Panthers
Leave Thursday.
play. Yeah, and we'll see you back next week. Hopefully, definitely with more games to talk about. But we'll see you then.